Hey guys, Michael Chassis Parts Online. Today I wanted to show you the latest version of my 1-inch shorter Crown Vic upper control arms that are adjustable. Now these are a set that I had just in bare steel. They need to be taken out and put some primer on before they rust, and yes, they will rust in this shop. But I want to take some pictures of them first for the website, take some video, and show you guys the features in a video so I can explain it to you and make it easier to understand. These are 1 inch shorter than stock, and this is the newest version, which, as you can see, they bend up like the factory arms. Not as much as factory arm, but some, and that's to help with a smaller wheel, get you some more turning radius there. You guys that run a wider wheel, that helps with you there. Okay, these use a factory style ball joint. In other words, the same ball joint that fits the factory Crown Vic arms, the stamped steel arms, I believe. This is a K500042. 500042. Yeah, that's 3 zeros in the middle of there. Now, I'm not a fan of just buying expensive ball joints just for peace of mind or whatever. Like you guys, a lot of guys will think, hey, if it's not Moog, I'm not going. Look, this is what I like about ball joints. See that accordion boot right there and the wire holding it on? That keeps the grease inside. Okay, that's a good ball joint no matter what it costs. Okay, I've never seen one of these break. Keeping the grease inside is what keeps ball joints alive. Okay, and I come from a world of bag trucks where you're limiting, you're running your ball joint from one extreme to the other. Okay, so that's the other thing, is we changed this from a press in to a hold down plate, and I'm going to explain what that means. Basically what that means is this ball joint used to be a press in, and you can see it's made, that's what it's made for. It's got threads, and that's so that it can make splines, I guess you could say, make grooves in the stamped steel arm as it's being pressed in, okay, as a replacement. The problem is, when you got an arm that's pressed in like that, I mean a ball joint that's pressed in like that, on a factory spin it's just not a big deal. But on something, let's say, that's bagged or has a whole lot of travel, you can get that ball joint to the end of its travel, and what you do, it starts moving inside this here, or like in the factory stamp steel, and loosening up. Okay, and that snap ring's not enough to hold that in there. Once it does that, now it's not going to come out because it's got a lip around the tops, so it ain't going to come out and cause anything to break, but it will give you a bad day. So I just decided to start going with the hold plate. It's something the Honda guys used to do back in the day, back when people first started making aftermarket control arms for Hondas. They had a press-in ball joint like that, and these guys were running strut cans, basically like an air cylinder, and then they went to strut bags like Ride Tech, and they were getting the ball joints to the end of travel, and it was killing them. So they went with a deal like this with a hold plate. On the Hondas, it was like a big square. It's kind of an ugly thing, and it was also adjustable. It had slotted holes. But I went to that on this basically to ensure that none of these come apart like on a bag truck. And as I said, I've never had one come apart, but just making sure. So I'm going to show you how that fits together. If I can do this with one hand. Okay, so basically, your ball joint fits in the hole just like it did before, except it does not press in now. It just fits in there, just sets in that hole. Okay? Then you've got a stainless plate. It's about an 1/8 inch thick. Now this goes around it. Okay? I don't know if I can line this up looking through this lens. All right, but that goes on there. That's a spacer. It matches the thickness of that ball joint plate almost. Then you got this here. This is the hold plate. This bolts it down. Okay. Now you got bolts here, 4 on each side. This is a flange. This is a 1/4 20 flange head bolt. It's Allen also. Okay. So that goes down through there like that, through both, through the bottom of the arm, as you can see. And you've got uh, nylon insert lock nuts there, and stainless flat washers. You also got stainless washers that work on the outside. These go on the outside and inside of these, of the rod ends here. Okay. Now, these are washers that I have made because who's going to find a washer that's that diameter, outside and inside, and that thickness? Yeah, you can flip through McMaster car catalog all you want to, but you're not going to find it. So I just basically get all my washers made, laser cut myself. Yeah, they're more expensive, but they're exactly the OD, ID, and thickness that I want. And they're stainless, so they're not going to rust. Not going to have rust stains all down your ride, and you don't have to paint them or powder coat them. Okay, so the next step here is the rod ends. This rod end screwed all the way in makes this arm 1 inch shorter than stock, but it's also can be adjusted out from there. Okay, so like say if this was the factory stock length arms, these screwed all the way in would be stock length, and you can screw out from there to adjust. These are 1 inch shorter, so the 1 inch shorter is with this screwed all the way in. As you screw this out, obviously it makes it longer. Okay, so this is what that rod end looks like inside there. These are made by Rod End Supply. I get these from Speedway Motors. They're plentiful. You can get it from anywhere. Okay. Basically, they go in there that far, and the threads are 3/4 16 jam nuts, and they're all right-hand threads. You can buy these in left hand if you want to, but it really doesn't do any good because you have to take the bolt out to do it. Now, these have a poly bushing in here, and they have a sleeve originally that's made for a 5/8 bolt. But you guys on this Crown Vic know that uses a 9/16 or 14 millimeter bolt. So I have to make these sleeves myself and press them in. And these things are tight. I have to physically press that sleeve out on a press, 20-ton press. Obviously, it doesn't take that much power, but I've tried beating them out and it didn't work. So I had to press them out with a press, and then these here I have to lube them up just a little bit. Then I'll take a hammer like that. It's basically the plastic dead blow hammer. You can use a rubber mallet, whatever, to knock those in, and that's how I do that. Okay. The other thing about this is the width of this control arm is made to fit the aluminum crossmember, but there's two different crossmembers that I've found, and I'm talking about the width between here and here on some of the aluminum crossmembers is about 7 15/16, 7.9375 or so, and the other one is 8.0625, so almost 8 1/8. So there's a big difference there. So what I do is that's why I send these washers. Okay, on the 7 15/16, you do not need the two inside washers. You can run this right up against the aluminum, and you put your other washers on the outside. Okay, and use your factory bolt, your factory nut, and all that. Well, I got that wrong. On the narrow one, the 7 15/16, you will need the washer. On the wider one, the 8.0625, you will not need the washer. Okay, but that's why I send it all anyway. I send that snap ring and that spacer washer that comes with the ball joint, even though you're not probably going to need it. You got the stainless washers and the nuts that go on the bottom of that, and basically that's all I'm saying. That's how that goes. And it's a pretty good looking deal too, once you get these powder coated. Basically, I left these in bare steel so that I could take some pictures for my website for the new version, so you guys can see it. I need to take these out, take these back apart, take them outside and put some primer on them, and let them dry before I put them in a box and send them on. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a set of these bright red, and I'm going to put them right back on this table with all these parts the same way as this, basically, so you can see what they look like in a bright color. And I will sell that set, that one red set. I'll sell them cheaper if somebody wants something that are just painted red. I'll put a listing up and we'll talk about it when I get them made. I've got to make several more sets of these before we do that. So, anyways, that's how all that goes. That's how it goes together. These laser cut plates. Those plates are 3/8 thick. Okay, so this is not going anywhere. As I said, those are those poly ends, those are made by Rod End Supply. You can get them from Speedway if they ever need to change them. Ball joints, same ones that fit the factory, so you can change them if you ever need to. So it doesn't get any simpler than that. Yes, I make these in a stock length also. I make these in a non-adjustable version, but even the non-adjustable version has that type of plate now. I changed it. There may not be pics on the website of it yet, but there will be, as I'm trying to take pics now that I got back from vacation. Okay, peace, guys.